Welcome back to Daily English Lab Podcast, where we believe that English learning doesn't have to be boring, stressful, or complicated. My name is Victor, I'm your host, and I'm genuinely excited you're here, because today we're tackling something that pretty much everyone's talking about right now: how to talk about the new year like a native English speaker. Now, you might be wondering, why does this even matter? Well, think about it. The new year is the biggest conversation topic in January. Whether you're at a coffee shop, in an office, at a party, or chatting with someone online, someone's going to ask you, what are your New Year's goals, or what's your resolution for this year? And if you freeze or can't express yourself naturally in English, that's a missed opportunity to connect with people, build confidence, and show up as your authentic self. Plus, here's something cool. The phrases and expressions we use to talk about the new year are used all year long when talking about change, growth, and goals. So learning them now, you're not just preparing for January small talk. You're building language skills that'll serve you for the entire year. Here's what you're going to learn in the next few minutes. First, we'll look at the core vocabulary you need, the words and phrases native speakers actually use, not the textbook stuff. Second, I'm going to teach you the idioms and expressions that'll make you sound natural. Third, we'll walk through how to talk about goals, resolutions, and intentions without overthinking it. Fourth, I'll show you what not to say, the common mistakes that even advanced learners make. And finally, we'll do some practical practice so you can say these things confidently. This video is about 15 minutes, but I promise it's going to feel like we're just two friends chatting over coffee, breaking down something that initially feels complicated, but is actually pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. Before we jump in, here's my challenge for you. Comment below and tell me what's one thing you want to work on with your English this year. Is it speaking more smoothly, understanding movies without subtitles, making friends in English? I genuinely read your comments, and I'd love to know what you're working toward. And hey, if you're not subscribed yet, this is your sign. Hit that subscribe button because every single week I'm dropping videos that make English feel less scary and way more achievable. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the basic words and phrases that come up over and over when people talk about the new year. These are the building blocks. Resolution is probably the most famous word. A resolution is a promise or decision you make to do something or stop doing something. So people say, my resolution is to exercise more, or I'm breaking my resolution again, I already ate 3 donuts in January. It's a commitment you make to yourself to change something about your life. Then you've got goal. This is broader. A goal is something you want to achieve or accomplish. The difference? A resolution is specifically something you decide at the new year, and it's usually about stopping or changing a bad habit. A goal is more general. You can have goals anytime, about anything. My resolution is to stop snacking at night, but my goal is to lose 15 pounds by June. Next, intention. This word is becoming super popular now, especially on social media. An intention is like a goal, but it's more about the feeling or energy you want to bring into your life. My intention for 2026 is to be more kind to myself, or my intention is to be present with my family. It's softer, more mindful, less pressury than resolution. Then there's plan. This is straightforward. It's what you're going to do. What are your plans for the new year? It's casual, everyday language. Finally, word of the year. Some people pick one word to focus on for the entire year. Like someone might choose growth or balance or adventure and use that word as their guiding light. My word of the year is courage, so I'm going to try things that scare me. So let's get specific with some actual New Year phrases. When someone asks, what are you going to do differently in 2026? Here are your natural responses. You could say, I'm going to make a change. Super simple, super natural. Or, I'm going to turn over a new leaf. This is an idiom that means to start fresh, to stop bad habits, to become a better version of yourself. It paints this nice picture of turning the page in a book to a new blank page. You might say, I'm going to start fresh, or I'm going to hit the reset button. Someone might ask, are you making any resolutions? And you go, yeah, I'm going to stick with it this year, or I'm really going to follow through with my goals. One super common phrase is, no new year, new me nonsense, or I'm not doing the whole new year, new me thing. Some people use this ironically because they're skeptical about quick transformations. Others are genuinely saying, I don't believe in magical life changes just because the calendar flipped. Here's what's cool. All of these phrases let you express yourself naturally. You don't need fancy words. You just need to know what native speakers actually say. And boom,
you're having an authentic conversation. Why does this matter? Because when someone asks you about your New Year plans, you won't freeze. You'll have actual phrases to use, not translated thoughts. Your brain will go, "Oh, I know this one. I'm going to start fresh," instead of searching for a translation. Common mistake? People sometimes mix up goal and resolution or overthink which word to use. Here's the honest truth. Native speakers use them somewhat interchangeably. Don't stress about picking the perfect one. Just pick one and go with it. If you say, "My goal for 2026 is to read more books," literally nobody's going to correct you or think you're wrong. English is a forgiving language. Here's a mini story. I once had a student who was so worried about saying resolution correctly that she ended up staying silent the entire time her coworkers were talking about their New Year plans. And then at the end, someone asked directly, "What about you?" And she nervously said, "I want to get better English." Everyone loved it. They thought she was humble and genuine. She could have said goal, resolution, intention, or plan. It literally didn't matter. What mattered was that she spoke.
Quick practice moment. Pause here for a second. Think about one thing you want to change or accomplish in 2026. Now, say it out loud using one of these phrases. Go ahead, I'll wait. Did you do it? Because that small act, saying it out loud, is actually how your brain starts remembering the language. Don't just read it, speak it. Okay, here's where it gets fun, because this is where native speakers sound, well, native. These are the expressions that separate sounding textbooky from sounding like you actually belong in an English conversation. Crush it is huge right now. I'm gonna crush my goals this year, or I'm crushing it at the gym right now. It means to do something really well, to succeed, to be awesome at something. It doesn't literally mean to destroy. It's just slang for being excellent. Ball is in your court is a classic idiom. The ball is in your court this year. You have the power to make your dreams happen. It comes from tennis, where it literally is someone's turn when the ball is on their side of the court. Metaphorically, it means it's your turn, your responsibility, your opportunity. Make it happen is probably the most motivational phrase. Stop talking about it and make it happen. It's about taking action, following through, actually doing the thing instead of just thinking about it. Step up your game means to improve, to do better. This year, I'm stepping up my game when it comes to my fitness, or I'm stepping up my game at work. You're raising your standard. Put yourself out there is really common when people talk about New Year goals involving relationships or confidence. My resolution is to put myself out there and make new friends, or I'm going to put myself out there and try dating. It means to be vulnerable, to take risks, to be visible and available for new experiences. Leave it all on the field is from sports. It means to give your absolute best effort, to not hold back. This year, I'm going to leave it all on the field. You're giving 100%. Go for it is super casual and encouraging. If someone tells you their New Year goal, you'd say, "Go for it. You can totally do that." It's a cheerleader vibe. Bite off more than you can chew is actually a warning. If you set too many goals, someone might say, "Don't bite off more than you can chew. Focus on just one or two things." It means don't take on more than you can actually handle. Make a dent or make a difference is when you want to impact something. I want to make a dent in climate change, or I want to make a difference in my community. It's about contribution, legacy, purpose. Now, here's a pro tip. You don't need to use all of these. Native speakers don't either. Pick 2 or 3 that resonate with you. Practice those and use them naturally. It's way better to use one phrase confidently than to throw in 5 expressions awkwardly. Why does this matter? Because when you use these idioms correctly, something magical happens. Native speakers go, "Oh, they really do speak English," and they start respecting your English more. Plus, you feel more confident. You sound like you belong in the conversation instead of observing from the sidelines. Common mistake number 1, overusing idioms. Some people learn 3 idioms and then try to use all of them in one sentence. I'm going to crush it, leave it all on the field, and go for it with my ball on the court. It sounds forced and weird. Use 1, maybe 2 per thought. Keep it natural. Common mistake number 2, using idioms you don't fully understand. Someone once told me they were going to bite off more than they can chew with their New Year goals, and I asked, "So you're overwhelmed?" And they looked confused. If you're not sure what an idiom means, don't use it yet. Wait until you really get it.
Here's an anecdote. I have a friend who learned the phrase crush it last January. She was so excited about it that she used it at work. I'm gonna crush my quarterly targets. Her boss loved it so much that now the entire office uses the phrase. One idiom used naturally and confidently can literally change how people perceive your English. That's the power of what we're doing here. Interactive practice. Let me give you 3 situations and you tell me in the comments which idiom or phrase fits best. Situation 1. Your friend wants to start learning Chinese, French, Spanish, and Japanese all at the same time, but he's never studied a language before. Situation 2. Someone asks you what you're doing differently this year and you want to sound motivational and excited. Situation 3. Your coworker is being shy and nervous about joining the office social events this year. Comment below with your answers. Seriously, do it. I'm checking comments and I'll reply. Let's get real for a second. You're probably not going to have super long, complicated conversations about your New Year goals, right? Most of the time, it's quick exchanges. Someone says, "What are you up to this year?" And you've got about 30 seconds to respond. So let's practice that. The casual version. Someone asks, "What about you? Do you have any New Year goals?" You could say, "Yeah, I want to get in better shape and read more books." Done. Simple, authentic, natural. Or slightly longer. "I'm really trying to be more consistent this year. Like whether it's with exercise or working on my Spanish, I just want to stick with things instead of starting and stopping."
The thoughtful version. If you have more time or you want to be deeper, honestly, my intention for 2026 is to be more present. I spend way too much time on my phone, and I want to actually be with the people I care about. So that's my main focus. The humorous version. Same thing every year. Exercise more, eat healthier, stop drinking so much coffee. Spoiler alert, I'll probably break all 3 by February. People love this because it's relatable and honest. Here's the key. Native speakers often talk about their goals in a mixed way. They're not super formal, but they're also not completely casual. There's this sweet spot where you're being real, being authentic, showing some vulnerability, but also some humor. Talking about what you want to change. You can talk about different areas of your life. Maybe it's health. I want to lose some weight, or I'm trying to be more active, or I'm going to start running. Maybe it's professional. I want to get a promotion, or I'm learning new skills at work, or I'm going to take on more responsibility. Maybe it's personal relationships. I want to spend more time with my family, or I'm trying to be a better listener, or I want to make new friends. Maybe it's your English learning. I want to finally watch English movies without subtitles, or I want to speak more fluently, or I'm focusing on pronunciation this year. Maybe it's creative or lifestyle. I want to travel more, or I'm going to start a side project, or I'm learning guitar this year. Talking about why you want to change. This is where it gets interesting. When you explain the why, people connect with you more. You can say, "Because I'm not happy with where I am right now." Honest, real. "Because I want to feel healthier and more confident." Outcome focused. "Because I'm getting older and I don't want to look back with regrets." Vulnerable, motivating. "Because I've been talking about it forever and it's time to actually do it." Self-aware, humorous. "Because I want to be someone my kids can look up to." Values-based, deep. Notice how these reasons feel personal. They're not about being perfect or impressing people. They're about becoming who you actually want to be. Talking about how you're going to do it. Instead of just saying what you want, native speakers often mention how they're actually going to make it happen. This makes you sound more serious and thoughtful. "I'm going to start going to the gym 3 times a week. I'm tracking my progress on an app. I'm joining a running club for accountability. I'm scheduling it in my calendar like it's an appointment. I'm telling my friends so they can keep me accountable." See, these are concrete, actionable. You're not being vague. You're showing you've actually thought about this. Talking about obstacles and realistic goals. Here's what separates people who sound mature and realistic from people who sound like they're living in fantasyland. Acknowledging difficulty. "I know it's going to be hard, but I'm committed. I'm probably going to mess up sometimes, and that's okay. The hardest part will be staying consistent in March when the excitement wears off. I'm not expecting perfection. I just want to be better than I was last year." This honesty is actually really attractive in a conversation. People respect it more than saying, "I'm going to be perfect and change everything immediately." Common mistakes with this. Mistake 1, being too negative. My New Year's resolution is to stop being so lazy and ugly. Whoa, no, that's not reflective, that's self-deprecating. You can be honest about needing change without being cruel to yourself. Try instead, I want to build better habits because I know I'm capable of more. Mistake 2. Overcommitting to unrealistic goals. I'm going to work out 2 hours every day, learn French, write a novel, and wake up at 5 a.m. No, you're not. One person actually told me this, and by January 3rd, she'd abandoned everything. Better to say, I'm going to focus on one thing really well instead of spreading myself too thin. Mistake 3. Not being specific enough. I want to be better at English. What does that even mean? Better is too vague. Instead, I want to improve my speaking skills, specifically my pronunciation and fluency, or I want to understand English without subtitles. A mini story. I had a student, Marco, who told me his New Year's resolution was to become more confident in English. Really broad, right? So I asked him to get specific. He said, well, I'm scared to speak in meetings at work. Boom. Now we had something concrete to work on. His real goal wasn't to become confident. It was to speak up once per meeting without feeling terrified. Way more actionable. And guess what? By March, he was doing it. Specific goals actually work. Practice moment. Think about this. If you were talking to a friend about your English goals for 2026, what would you say? Not just, I want to improve, but what exactly? And how are you going to do it? Say it out loud right now. This is how you rehearse for real conversations.
Let's dig into the 3 most common mistakes I hear from English learners when they're talking about the new year, so you can absolutely avoid them. Mistake number 1. Using future tense when you should use present continuous. You'll hear learners say, I will lose weight this year, or I will go to the gym more often. Native speakers say, I'm losing weight this year, or I'm going to the gym more often. Why? Because when you're talking about your resolution or goal, it's something you've already decided and you're already committed to doing. The present continuous, I'm doing, sounds like you've made the decision and you're actively working on it. The simple future, I will do, sounds like you're uncertain or it's just a vague possibility. It might seem like a tiny difference, but it's the difference between sounding committed and sounding wishy-washy. Mistake number 2. Saying, I will try, when you should say, I'm gonna focus on, or I'm committed to, or simply, I'm doing. Learners, I'm gonna try to exercise more. Native speakers, I'm focusing on exercise this year, or exercise is my main goal, or I'm getting back into working out. Why? The word try in English, especially in American English, sounds like you're not really confident. Yoda famously said, do or do not, there is no try. And that stuck with English speakers, especially in American culture. When you say try, people hear, I'm probably not going to do this. When you say, I'm committing to this, people take you seriously. Mistake number 3, being too grammatically perfect in a way that sounds unnatural. Learner, I have decided that in the year 2026, I shall make a concerted effort to engage in cardiovascular exercise on a regular basis. Native speaker, I'm going to work out more this year, man. Got to take care of myself. Okay, this is exaggerated, but the point stands. Sometimes learners get so caught up in using perfect grammar that they sound robotic or like they're reading from a textbook. Native conversations about goals are way more casual and conversational. It's totally okay to say, like, I really want to focus on my health, you know? So basically, I'm trying to be more active. The thing is, I've been meaning to read more books for forever. Honestly, 2025 was kind of a year, so I'm just trying to be better to myself. These are grammatically simpler, but they sound so much more natural and native-like. Quick tip, if you're ever unsure whether something sounds natural, ask yourself, would I say this to my best friend in my native language? If the answer is no, it probably sounds too formal for a casual New Year conversation. Dial it back. Let's lock in what we've covered because you've learned a lot. Number 1, the core vocabulary, resolution, goal, intention, plan, and word of the year. These are the foundation words you'll hear and use all the time. Number 2, the idioms and phrases that make you sound natural, like crush it, turn over a new leaf, put yourself out there, and make a difference. You don't need all of them, just pick 2 or 3 and use them confidently. Number 3, the real way native speakers talk about their goals. They're casual but thoughtful. They mention the why, they're specific about the how, and they're honest about obstacles instead of pretending everything's going to be perfect. Number 4, common mistakes to avoid, using future tense when you should use present continuous, saying try when you should sound more committed, and sounding too formally grammatically correct when natural speech is actually more casual. And here's the most important thing. You don't need to wait until next January to use this language. Whenever someone's talking about change, growth, goals, or wanting to improve something about their life, this vocabulary and these phrases apply. So you're actually building language skills that serve you year-round. Look, here's the real truth. Every single native English speaker has had moments when they felt awkward talking about their goals or plans. It's vulnerable to say what you want. It's a little scary to put yourself out there. But you know what? The fact that you're here, learning English, learning these phrases, learning how to express yourself authentically, that's already incredible. You're taking your English seriously, and that matters. When someone asks you about your New Year goals next time, or literally any time someone asks about your plans or what you want to change, you're now equipped to respond naturally, confidently, and authentically. You know the vocabulary, you know the idioms, you know how native speakers actually frame these conversations. So go do it. Have those conversations. Use these phrases. Get a little uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens. Here's my ask. First, go comment below and tell me one goal you have for this year, in English. I'm reading those comments and I genuinely want to know what you're working toward. Second, if this video helped you, smash that like button. It tells me to keep making videos like this, breaking down real, practical English that actually helps you. Third, subscribe to Daily English Lab podcast if you haven't already, because every week I'm dropping videos that make English feel achievable instead of overwhelming. We're building your confidence here, one video at a time. Tomorrow, we're talking about how to talk about your busy schedule and work-life balance in English, because honestly, everyone's always saying they're swamped or they can't even, and there's so much natural language in there that'll make you sound more native. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Keep speaking English, keep putting yourself out there, and remember, your voice matters, your goals matter, and you're more capable than you think. See you tomorrow on Daily English Lab podcast. Let's go crush this.